Hello, I'm Dr. Alison Louise Griffiths. I'm going to give a short presentation on how I use technology to be more productive for project supervision. An overview of what I'm going to talk about. What are the difficulties with project supervision? Suggested solutions. Using Dropbox for file sharing, using Facebook for sharing timely information, and using Skype or telephone and Dropbox for having virtual project meetings. I'm not going to tell you how you supervise your projects. I'm just trying to show you some tools that will make it more productive. We all have a lack of time, a lack of space on the email server, feel like we're repeating the same thing when we're talking to multiple students. Students used to always leave their USBs in my computer. They used to lose their work. I used to write on pieces of paper that we made notes during the actual meetings, and students would lose them. I used to scan these in and save them just in case the student lost them. However, there's a much easier solution now. It costs money for students to print. You can comment on a piece of paper that gets lost. You can scan things in that you've commented on, but this takes too much time. There are other ways of doing this now. We can use Dropbox. There are other providers which uses some space in the cloud, which you can view your files from any location or device that is connected to the internet, and you can share with one or more people. So you can do this on any computer. You don't have to have the software. However, having the software makes it easier. So what it looks like, we can look on the internet and we can right click on a folder and choose who we want to share it with by simply entering their email address. The folders that have people on them shows that I'm sharing it with some project students. These top two folders are not shared with anyone, they're just myself. I have a folder called projects in my Dropbox, and I've put them in this academic year. I have a common folder in which all of my project students can see some files, and then I have a separate folder where only myself and the actual student can see the files. To add a new member, I just right click here and add their email address there. I can add new people to the folder and I can remove people this way. So the common folder is for all students. It contains things such as a meeting log, which is exactly the same as the old paper-based meeting log that we used to use for project students. Sample projects at different levels. I've put these in Adobe Acrobat or PDF format. I've given examples of how to reference to or refer to, number and also label figures, how to reference, how to cite references, and then of course I have the separate folders shared with each and individual student and myself. This is an example of the contents of one student's folder. It has a copy of their ethics form, which has been scanned in and signed by myself, their initial proposal, an image that they've created, a flowchart of algorithms, a copy of the Gantt chart in Excel, some images, the meeting log, which is the record of what happens in the meeting and what the student needs to do for the next meeting, and also their actual proposal document. I can then open these documents, and using the reference feature of Word, I can make changes to these documents, and the students can see my reaction whilst I'm reading their work, and we can discuss why I'm making the comments that I'm making. Here is the example of the meeting log. It's the same as the old paper-based system that we used to use, except all information is stored in one Word file. Here I have the date of the meeting, the progress that the student has made since the previous meeting, what we want to talk about or what the student would like to talk about in the meeting, and then we talk about these things, and then we agree some actions for the next meeting. And it works very well. It saves time. Why would we use Facebook? It's a quick and easy way of promoting ourselves. It's not bound by the rules and the timeliness of the university website. However, we can put quick information there that shows how we are interacting with our students. The students can feel part of the community. When they're doing their project, they can feel very isolated. Most students already have an account, and by having a Facebook page or a group that I do for my project students, then I don't actually have to see their personal profiles for them to join. And also, students feel much more comfortable using it than they do Blackboard. So here is the telecommunications Facebook page, and it is everyone can see this information. The difference between this is a page which everyone can see. Whilst I'm doing for project supervision is a secret group, so anybody can post something up there, but people who aren't part of the group can't even find the group. So it avoids students feeling isolated whilst they're doing their project, and if a student asks for advice, all of the other students can see it, or students can ask me questions and I can upload general advice without naming a particular student. All the information is saved in one place, so when you're sending students emails, the information could get mixed up with lots and lots of other emails that they have, and the next cohort of new starters can also see the advice that I gave which was given to their predecessors. You can see if the students are viewing your advice as well, and I can add things and let students know when they're added. This is my secret Facebook page for my project students. As you can see, it is a secret group with the members being my current project supervisions at the moment, because I only started doing it this year. So I have different groups here where I can post to, and as you can see, I have a list of times when I'm going to see my project students this week. So only my project students can see this page. I've asked a student who I am actually supervising to try and find the group, and I actually had to invite him by email by adding people to the group there. They couldn't actually find the group because it's hidden. So here's an example of some general questions. I'm not going to read the questions because you can read them for yourself. I've mentioned something and then I've answered the question. There was also a question about the target word count for a literature review. I actually made this information. I wrote it whilst I was in a meeting with a student, and then I shared it with every other student in the group, and I referred to it in different meetings, so I didn't feel like I was repeating myself so much, and I could tell the students to look at it. I also added a Gantt chart example because several of the students couldn't create a Gantt chart or didn't know how to, so I created a simple one, and then they saw it and then they created their own. Again, this is general information, so you don't repeat yourself so much. Also, I use Skype or telephone meetings. Because we're using Dropbox to share this information, we can both, myself and the student, view the files on our own computers, talk about them as if the student is actually in front of me, and hold a very efficient meeting. Because sometimes a student might not be able to attend, or you might not be able to come. So the odd student has the meeting from an inappropriate place, such as a train station or an airport. But on the whole, I found this a good experience. It's easier to keep to your actual fixed meeting times, and the meetings are much more focused. Lessons from experience. I've been using Dropbox for several years. I make sure that students let you know if they've uploaded something, because they think because they're only sharing with you that you know that they've uploaded a file, as they only share with you and you share with many because you're sharing with many students. It's my first time using Facebook. I always use the student email as well, but I'm able to get in touch with the student much quicker using Facebook. In summary, it saves the students and also myself time. It makes the students feel more part and more included in a community and more focused on the project. The information is there, so they cannot lose it. They should still also have their own copy. The same information is not repeated many different times. And if there's any further suggestions, I'd appreciate you letting me know. Thank you. And thanks for listening.